It's about 8 o'clock at night, so I'm just finishing up this little dresser that we were working on, this antique dresser. I had to end up working on a little bit of it off camera, and then I waited for, I don't know, 10 days or something for a rub-on transfer to come. I'm going to do a separate video on the rub-on transfer because I want to just explain how it works. So that's on. I have one coat of poly on the top of the top we stripped and then stained. Turned out really nice. And then I want to put some gold wax on the handles, a little bit more gold wax, and just show you what I did for antiquing wax a little bit. So the client hasn't seen this yet, so she'll be picking it up probably tomorrow or the next day. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do some WipeOn Poly on the top. That will be the seal coat for the stained top that we did, and then that way she can put, you know, and if she gets something wet or candle wax on it, it's not going to be too crucial. If she didn't have that, she only had wax on the stained bit we did, the wax can leave watermarks, so we don't want that. We want a really good WipeOn Poly on it, and then that way it lasts for quite a long time. So I'm going to point you to this, and like I said, you might see some of this, you might not see a lot of it. I will be posting this on my page, Facebook page. The rub-on transfer, I will be doing a video on YouTube, so be sure you go to our YouTube channel, Flandrens Interiors, and subscribe so you don't miss that. And some other stuff that I've done on this piece. So here it is in all its glory, but if you know this lady, don't say anything. Okay, so I'm going to start with the top, so you're not going to see much, and I'm going to turn on my big light so we can have a little bit of light on this subject. There we go for light. That helps a little bit. Yeah, let's see what you guys are seeing. Not a whole lot, hey? Bring it a little bit closer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a cloth. This is just an old pillowcase that, or a piece of sheet or something. I don't know what it is. I just fold it up into a wad. And that's going to be my thing that I use for the WipeOn Poly. This is the WipeOn Poly. And it's literally called WipeOn Poly, and it's in clear satin. It's a Minwax product. So you can pour it into a container and then dip it on, but I'm just going to pour a little bit on. So I roughly know, oh, there's a piece of crackle that came off. So I just want not too much. You can always add more. So what you do with this is you literally just rub it on like you're waxing a piece. Get it all around where you want it, and it really polishes up nicely. I'm going to add a little bit more. Don't want too much. You can always add more after. And I'm going to get this back piece here, and the top here, and the sides. Just make sure you've got really good coverage. Get all your side bits. Just double check, look in the light to be sure you've gotten everything. I think I've gotten it, except a little bit over here. Now what this is starting to do is it's starting to set up already. It's starting to get a little sticky in a couple of spots. So I know I have about a minute to finish up with this. Okay, so my poly is on. Now I'm going to take the opposite side of my cloth, which is my dry side, and I'm just going to give it a wipe. And you go from one side to the other, overlapping the last little bit each time. Overlapping, and it just pulls it off. And this will level out, and it'll leave a perfectly beautiful, smooth finish on the top. That is waterproof because I'll just show you this quickly. Polyurethane is not pretty. Polyurethane is a plastic, so that's that. Okay, so now I'm going to move you down a little bit and show you the front. And what I'm going to do is work on these handles a little bit. I have some gold wax on them. This is gold gilding wax, and it's used for accenting pieces if you want to put a little bit of gold on your pieces. So these handles, I don't think I showed them to you before, but they were super tarnished, and I really didn't like them. So I was going to spray paint them, but then I thought, you know, I kind of almost like the bit of tarnish that they have on them, because I thought it kind of added to the patina of the look, which is the antiqued look. So I'm just going to move that down. And so I'm going to add a little bit of gold wax to these, and I'll show you how easy it is to put it on. So you just take your finger, dip it in the wax, rub it between your fingers like that. And then I think you can see this one, yeah. And you just take it and just rub it all about. And what this stuff does is it dries like rock hard in about a day, so that it will never really come out. Now, I do recommend doing this when you have the handles off of the piece, because you don't want to get wax onto the piece you're working on. But it's really simple, so I'll just go over and add a little bit more wax to this. I've already given it one coat of gold wax. But that's how you put on gold gilding wax. It's just the super easiest thing on there. That's it. And it just gives a little bit of a sheen. And like I said, I wanted to leave a little bit of the black because I thought it just kind of added to the piece. These are all the original handles. All of these. Just gives it a little bit more of that lush beauty to it, a little tiny bit. And I think it looks a little bit nicer in this case particularly than the spray paint, if I had used spray paint. So, okay, I'll show you. Now what I did here was I used this color pink I had. It's called Damask, and I lightened it up. So what I did was I put a damask paint in there, and then I wiped it off and let it dry. And then I've used white wax, which is, I got this from Fusion Mineral Paint. It's a white wax, and I've just dipped my brush in like so, and just worked it into the bits here. And what it did was it toned down the other pink color or that was in there. So now it matches the pink in the bouquets perfectly. And I just rub that in. And if I don't want to, I don't have to wipe it off, but I'm going to just give it a little bit of a wipe. And then tomorrow when all this wax is dried, I'll come up and polish it a little bit. And you can, even with the gold gilding wax, I can polish that tomorrow as well. I like to let it really, really, really dry. And then what I've done here is, I'm not sure it'll show too well on the camera, but what I've done is put a little bit of antiquing wax in here. So you can see the shadow. This is all antiquing wax. There's antiquing wax on the leg here, all around the edges. You can see that, and down at the very bottom. And I also put a little bit on the leg. So this is the finished piece here. I'm hoping my camera's straight. Okay, that's it there. I think it turned out pretty good. So like I said, this is the first piece of 4. And this was the applique that we put on here. This writing to me looks a little crooked, but that was how it was on the thing. These flowers I put on, and some of these I put on one at a time individually to make these little bouquets. So we're going to be using this type of transfer on another one, her other dresser like this that she's keeping too. So stay tuned. I hope that was a bit helpful. It's super hot out here again, but it was fun to do this, and like I said, she hasn't seen it yet, so she'll be seeing it maybe tomorrow or the next day for the first time. So stay tuned and share with your friends, subscribe, follow. Be sure to follow us on YouTube so you can see the other videos that we're putting together, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.